Joining us on set today is Samuel Chua, hybrid athlete and running shoe connoisseur.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a hybrid athlete. I enjoy running and weightlifting, and I also have a huge pair of running shoes. I'm an avid collector of running shoes since a few years ago, and I enjoy delving into the specs of each running shoe and how it works for you.
Thanks, Sam. And of course, today we have an exciting topic with us. It's choosing your pair of marathon racing shoes. What do you usually look out for in a pair of marathon shoes?
Some of the main things I'll look out in a marathon racing shoe, firstly would be the upper. Main thing about the upper would be how breathable it is, especially in humid conditions, as well as the lockdown of the upper, how it fits, ensure that there's no hot spots. And I will also look at the midsole, a combination of something with a carbon plate and a pliable midsole foam to ensure that the shoe itself has a dynamic response during the race. And lastly will be the outsole, very important. Durability isn't a huge factor since it's a race shoe, but outsole grip is very important for those tight corners and those wet conditions.
ASICS new Celebration of Sport collection. We'll be looking at the Novablast 4, Metaspeed 4, and of course the much touted Metaspeed Sky Paris. Starting off with the Novablast 4. Of course, It's not exactly carbon plated and not the top choice for most local runners that we've seen, but I know for a fact that many overseas runners wear it for their marathons, and I wore the previous edition of the Novablast for last year's Sydney Marathon as well. But I did find it to be a very comfortable pair, and it did last the distance, even for marathon distance. What would you say for yourself, in terms of considering a Novablast 4 for race day?
Runners who want to look at the Novablast 4 as their marathon race day option are runners who probably prioritize comfort. The upper is really padded, coupled with thick midsole and the durable outsole. The Novablast 4 is going to carry you through the marathon comfortably without you having to worry about whether the shoe is too stiff or the shoe is not comfortable and padded enough.
Glad that you brought it up, because we're gonna take a quick peek at the outsole, and of course ASICS proprietary Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco. One feature that I like a lot about it, as Sam mentioned, would be to finish a marathon comfortably, right? It may not give you the kind of propulsion that you would see in some of the carbon-plated shoes or the top-end range of race day shoes, but in terms of getting you a little bit of energy return, as compared to a gel Nimbus, I would say, to complete those daily miles, those longer distance runs, even outside of marathon racing, I think this is a great option as well. What is the one key, most prominent difference that you would say that you see in Metaspeed 4 compared to its earlier edition?
Definitely the stack. The stack has increased quite significantly. I believe it's a 43.5 millimeters stack in the heel now. And so with this would come a very different ride, something that you would expect closer to your marathon super shoes, your racing shoes, compared to the Metaspeed 3. This would be a close training partner to your marathon racers, and it will be able to mimic the feel of those races without compromising on durability.
All right, an interesting point that you brought up about the stack height difference in the Metaspeed 4, because we did see a lower stack in Metaspeed 3. What kind of qualities do you think that this pair is going to bring to runners for their marathon training or even for the racing?
The Metaspeed 3 did offer a unique aspect in terms of its ability to perform during shorter intervals and track workouts, but the Metaspeed 4 comes more in line with the marathon racer, the Metaspeed Sky or Metaspeed Edge. Even if you choose to take this out for a race, this will still give you increased dynamic feel, like as compared to the Novablast 4. So you still have the carbon plate, you have a slightly different foam which may not offer you that much of a spring to your step, but you definitely have much more durability from the outsole itself.
I would say while the predecessor did give us a very aggressive toe off, which is fantastic for races, but if you do wear them for much longer distances like a marathon race, you would feel that it does become a bit of a problem in terms of comfort, because it is quite stiff. Over those longer distances, you will feel a lot after that. Whereas for this pair of shoes, I would say it's a lot softer, a lot more forgiving. without compromising too much on the toe off or the pop, you would say. Yeah.
Yeah. I've spoken to quite a number of runners with regards to the Metaspeed Plus series, whether it's the Sky or the Edge. They have said, while it's a really propulsive racer, it's something that they struggle to take up to the full marathon because of the firmness. And with the current Paris series, with this new foam that is both softer and more responsive, it caters to a wider variety of runners now because they are able to take it up to the half and the full marathon because of the softer foam.
Right, but how do you know whether you should be taking the Metaspeed Edge or the Metaspeed Sky?
I think many runners get confused by this, but if you want to pick the Edge is for when you're running slow and you compare to your cadence when you're running slow to when you're running fast, and if your cadence increases together with the pace, and then you pick the Edge. And if you want to pick the Sky, how ASICS classifies it is your stride runner, which means when you pick up the pace, your cadence stays relatively the same, but your stride length increases.
So what are some of the common misconceptions that you see?
I think the main misconception that I see when runners pick the Sky or the Edge is they focus on whether their stride lengths are big or they have a high cadence. But one thing you should definitely take note is when you want to choose the Sky or the Edge, you need to see how your cadence or your stride corresponds to an increase in pace, not just at one specific pace.
If I get you correctly, if you're going for comfort for marathon racing, you can consider the Novablast 4. Not carbon plated, of course, but it does give you a very comfortable ride on race day. If you are looking at speed and performance, of course, Metaspeed Sky or Edge Paris, definitely a huge upgrade from the previous edition of the series. And then, of course, if you want to have the best of both worlds, having the carbon-plated experience, but you're kind of on a bit of a budget, and this is your first pair of carbon-plated shoes, you can consider the Magic Speed 4. All right, now, of course, as part of this episode, ASICS is also having a special celebration of sport giveaway. You do see 3 very pretty pairs of shoes. There are more shoes that are from the Celebration of Sport collection, so you do want to check them out on ASICS SG. And of course, to stand to win a pair of shoes from the Celebration of Sport collection, all you have to do is to take your own Celebration of Sport story and put it on social media. On Instagram, tag ASICS SG and hashtag ASICS SG, Celebration of Sport SG, as well as Move Your Mind with ASICS. And you could be one of 2 lucky winners to walk away with a pair of shoes from the Celebration of Sports. This, of course, is also done in conjunction with the Sydney Marathon presented by ASICS, an event for which both of us will be participating this year, together with over 400 Singaporeans in September. Looking forward to more, and if not, we'll see you on the next episode of Soulmates. Thank you, take care, and goodbye. Bye.